Hello 4Ks, this is day 90 of me playing chess every day until I reach the rapid rating of 2500. So here we go. We have the game, we have the black pieces once again. Our opponent played the e4, I will respond to my Caro-Kann defense of course. This is my most favoriteable opening, now d4 and d5. This is the main line of the Caro-Kann defense. And now knight to c3 is the classical variation after pawn takes on e4 and after knight takes on e4. Now I can simply play bishop f5, developing my bishop. There is also knight f6 or knight d7, but I like playing bishop f5 here. Now after knight g3, of course my bishop is attacked, so bishop g6 has to be played. And now there are a few options. h4 is the main line. If I play carelessly by playing e6, then there is h5 trapping my bishop. So of course I have to play h6, giving my bishop an escape square on h6. And of course playing h5 would simply be bad. After bishop e2 there was no way to defend the pawn virtually. So knight f3 going to e5, I cannot really allow that, so knight d5 and knight d7, excuse me, stopping the threat of knight d5. And now h5, bishop h7 and bishop d3 is the main line. After bishop d3, queen e3 and e6 we get into a pretty positional maneuvering game. I know the theory here pretty good. So h5, now bishop d3 has to be played. After bishop takes, queen takes. Of course I cannot allow the bishop to take on h7. After rook takes h7 I wouldn't be able to castle. And now simply e6 is the main line here. And we get this regular pawn structure in the Caro-Kann defense of course. This is kind of the bad hub formation. Now bishop to f4. Well, this is interesting. Nowadays the main line is to play bishop d2 here. Bishop f4 is not so popular anymore. I can play queen to a5 check. This is the main line here. But if bishop d2 I cannot play queen a5, which is quite self-explanatory. Now bishop d2 is indeed the main line. After bishop b4, c3, bishop e7, and c4, and then queen c7, and the position is fairly equal. Bishop d2 main line. If you play queen, if you play c3, excuse me. Yes, I don't really remember the theory here anymore, because c3 is not a theoretical move, as I mentioned. And of course, if you were to play queen c3 here, of course bishop b4, I mean, wins the queen and the game with it. So pawn to c3 now was played. I remember some queen a6 ideas, but I don't really. I mean, probably this pawn structure is good, yeah. But if b4 happens, oh, just a5 takes and then a5 again. Yeah? So I know that queen a6 is an idea, if not bishop d2. I just don't know if right away. I think I have to play queen a6 here. This I think is the theory. I remember one game that went like queen a6 and then you don't trade if you are white, but I think my opponent will take. I think you can castle here. Of course that's not a move because you lose on a2. But my opponent takes on a6. And now we are into queenless middle game. I love queenless middle games because they are very strategic. My idea is to attack on the b file, not with the rook for now, but in the future. So knight f6, c5 is also a very important idea. Bishop e7 castles, and then just push with my pawns on the queen side, creating a minority attack. And a minority attack is a very thematic way to play the middle game if you are black in the Caro-Kann defense. I will just write it down so that I won't forget to include that in the analysis part of the video, because this is very important. The minority attack is pretty much the basic idea behind the Caro-Kann defense. I mean, minority attack is the bread and butter of the Caro-Kann defense. Minority attack. So we have written it down. So I will show you some typical examples of the minority attack itself on the board, on the chessboard. We will see how it will go. Well, this pawn structure, I don't recall having any game, even a bullet game in this pawn structure, because people after queen a5 they simply play bishop d2. Oh, I'm attacking the queen, but no, then simply bishop b4 and I'm fine. But yes, now we get this pawn structure, and also bishop f4 is not the main line. The main line is to play bishop f2 instead of bishop d2 instead of playing bishop f4. My opponent is spending some time here, which is quite unusual. I think just castles, probably in either direction, but of course castling on the long side can be beneficial to me because I'm opening the C file and I will have the minority attack here. But I guess this king does defend some weaknesses on the queen side. So maybe putting the king here is natural. Although putting the king on the short side is also fine. But my opponent plays the different way to develop the king, let's say, which is to play king to d2. I think this is, I wouldn't call it a mistake. I just don't see it because now I can simply play c5, opening up the d line, maybe castling with. Castling is very bad actually, but if this would be a tempo on the king, then why not castle king b7 and then maybe. So I think c5 takes, and if pawn takes, then I have a great position after knight f6 and knight d5. Although I could take it slowly, and the king will stay on the d file, so maybe knight f6, just preparing something. So here I think is the best move indeed. Knight e5, just c5, knight d7, knight d7. Bishop d6 is a problem if takes, and I don't take the pawn, but of course I can take the pawn, so that is no problem. If here, and I don't take back immediately, if I do like castles, then bishop d6 might be slightly of a problem, but still knight takes there. I'm defending the knight with an x-ray here. And I cannot say that I don't love my position for now. I mean, playing this positional, theoretical, not quite theoretical, but this positional maneuvering games with some minority attacks, and I have my clear plan. I'm not sure White's plan actually is. I mean, you have this weakness on e5, you cannot move the knight, because I take it when the rook moves. You cannot really play c4 here. Although maybe c4, c5, you cannot push d5, so that's a bad thing. And then if takes and knight takes, I think that's just great for me. There is c5 now after rook e1, and then simply takes, and pawn takes, and bishop b4 wins the rook. So I will just go for this, and if this happens, of course there is bishop b4. Even though this is a positional battle, you should be still thinking about tactics. And now one tactic that white might do is to push with d5, but it doesn't work. There is a pin created on the e line, and if there would be a knight, let's say on, where should the knight be? Actually, that's a very hard question. But if something would be defending the d5 square once again, then knight takes d5 would simply blunder a piece due to my pawn is not defending d5 because there is a pin. I cannot take if my king will be attacked. If takes here, however, I will take with the bishop, attacking f2. If knight e4, I can simply take and then take on f2. And also knight f6, just attacking the rook once again. And this is a very usual maneuver. When your opponent plays knight e4 in this kind of structure, you take back, and if queen takes back, I play knight f6. And my knight is better on f6 than on d7. And it comes with a tempo, also pressuring h5. I think my opponent has a lot of weaknesses, and this bishop is a beautiful piece. But, hold on. I can play knight d5, and this bishop has literally no square except for c7. But after bishop c7, I can simply play rook c8, and after bishop a5, the bishop is getting kind of stuck here after rook b8 back attacking the pawn. So I think knight d5 at some moment will be just very good with rook b8. How would you say it? In relation with rook b8, in correlation? In collocation. Perhaps that's a word. And yes, my opponent is taking a lot of time. He's down to 11 minutes and a half. If we say this is a pretty non-dangerous position, spending quite some time on this hard decision, because my opponent is not just thinking about moves. My opponent should and probably is thinking about future plans, because you cannot just think about moves themselves. You should think about plans. What is your plan in the future? How will you try to win the game? Maybe by playing on this side of the board, but I have my own ideas with a5 and a4. So, are you playing on the king side? I wouldn't say, because your pawns are not rolling. This knight cannot move because h5 would simply be hanging with a lost position. So you should probably play in the center. But how? I think this position is much better for black. And we'll see in the analysis part of the video if that's true. Because I have a lot of play here. And I would love white to see, I would love to play c4 if I'm white. But it doesn't work after here. Takes and bishop before is the problem. So I think putting the king in the center of the board was a big mistake by white. You should just castle long, I think, in that position. Maybe castle short. Um, wow, wait a second. 94 played. I can simply take knight takes knight f6 and pick up the h5. Hold on. There is a rook e5, but I play bishop d6, winning the bishop here. This should just be winning. I will take. Rook takes, and knight f6 attacks the rook. If you play rook e5 defending h5, then I play bishop d6, and you cannot. I mean, ooh, maybe no, you cannot play rook f5. I simply takes here and takes here, and then I castle long. Excuse me, because I cannot castle short. And h5 comes with a tempo, which is quite an important thing, I would say. And if here, then potentially f6, so you go back, allowing me to capture a free pawn. There is an argument to be made that takes here first is better, but I don't think so. So knight takes on h5 simply comes with a tempo here. Bishop e3 is a natural move, but after takes, what is your plan? I will play rook d8, maybe bishop c5, so that I pin the whatever thing is there. PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece, as chess players like to call it. So if bishop e3 takes, and then bishop takes, then simply rook d8, I'm pinning the bishop, and then bishop c5, put PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece. And also if this happens, then I have like knight f4 ideas with another fork here, and I think I'm just much better, if not winning by computer. Maybe computers on a low depth would say that this is completely losing for white, or that it's holdable, and that's a very unique thing. Unique thing to a computer. Bishop e5. So I will tell you another story after I play my move, because I shouldn't spend too much time on this. Bishop here, I would like to take here, and if takes, then bishop before still comes with a very big attack. So here you should take with the bishop probably, and then bishop here. Although a7 is quite weak. Maybe this is my oh, but this is also a threat. If takes, and then here. Oh, I have rook d8, but then c4 happens. Bishop e7, but you are still pinned. Maybe this works here. If you take me, I take you. Easy. Here, if you take me, I take you, and I think my bishop is much better than this knight, because this knight, I get a pawn on f6, and this knight cannot jump further on, because my pawn, is defending the both squares, which is quite important. So knight f6, also threatening some knight g4 ideas, maybe 95. And if takes, then I have the b8 square. a7 is no longer a weak pawn, so I will just play knight f6. If takes, then takes. Maybe rook d8 firstly, then check. Yes, what I was talking about is chess computers. If there are two cases to be made. One is that low depth engine says there is slight edge to white or to black or something, and then the higher depth engine, so the better engine, says that's not true, and the position is completely equal. And there is another case to be made, which is that when it's a draw, or a position is slightly better to one player, but people think it's a draw and the computer says it's pretty equal, but then some higher And better computers says that there is an idea that low depth computers have missed. So there are two things to be careful about. Computers are not the same on the evaluation, so be careful when you are evaluating something because it is very depending on the depth you have your computer on. But that's so unimportant. I'm not sure why I'm bringing this up. I will just check if everything is fine with the video. Of course, it is. I just realized a few times when I was filming, my camera was just going up slowly, like every minute for 1 millimeter, and at the end of the video, my face was almost gone. So, excuse me for that, but because like my laptop, I have it on a cooler, so that it's cooling itself, and then it's slightly going off. So, but let's focus on chess here. I haven't spent a lot of time. I just played knight f6 with with up a pawn, and I think I have a streak of 4 wins. So winning this game would actually be probably one of the best streaks I have ever gotten since playing on day one. Um, yes, 5 wins in a row would be pretty great. I will try to do my best. I'm up a pawn with a much better position. Knight f6 if takes. I mean, my opponent is spending a lot of time here. We're only at move 19. My opponent has spent 2/3 of his time already. But we are, of course, getting 10 seconds every single move we make. So that shouldn't be a problem of losing on time. But when we chess players get low on time, bad things start to happen. Why? Well, because when we have low time, then we're not thinking about the position that deeply, and we often make a lot of inaccuracies. And I just realized that after bishop takes here d5, rook d8, c4, bishop e7, rook here is possible, and then I cannot take because here happens. But I can simply play rook d7 or king f8. No, king f8 doesn't help me. I play rook d7 defending here, and then I'm threatening to do this. What is this? f4 is an idea, but really. There is bishop e7, x-raying the knight. Threatening knight here, I'm threatening here. If here I go here with the tempo, winning the piece, takes here. So bishop e7 is a nice move. If takes, rook d8 and then bishop c5 happens, but then castles should be fine. Here I guess f4 is an idea, but it's not that dangerous at all. Simply castles, maybe knight g4 even. I think bishop e7 if takes, then I think my position has improved, yeah. I mean, if this happens, I mean, this king is weak. I think I will be better there. And this knight, I mean, playing knight h4. There is a chess saying, one more. Knight on the rim is dim. So what that actually means is that knights on the edges of the board are pretty weak. Well, logical, because knights aren't like rooks where they have a lot of space anywhere they are. No, it depends. And this knight has only 4 squares to go to, and the only square he can go to is to f3. Simply going back, I understand the idea is to activate the f pawn, but if you play knight h4, then why not simply here? Maybe going here to pressure the pawn here. Actually, 91 is another very common idea in the Caro-Kann defense. Actually, in the advanced variation, this is probably one of the main lines with 91. And then going to d3, pressure c5. But yes, playing knight h4 just... Uh-huh. That was the idea. But it doesn't work. So I cannot quite take because of bishop d6. Yeah? Oh, I can. What? What? I have check. Are you insane? I have check. If bishop d6, I have check and wait. If takes, I take. Oh, but I blundered. I just moved too quickly. I thought bishop d6 was an idea, but of course it wasn't. I'm up to pawns, but no, I'm up to a piece for now, but of course I will lose it. Why did I do that? So stupid. I thought I originally calculated here only bishop d6 move, yeah. And then knight g8 and rook here. I thought I was losing. I thought I was losing the piece, but of course this also works, yeah. I was just too quick because there were so many things I could play. There was even c takes on d5, c takes on d4 actually. But now I think I'm kind of forced to play king f8. Here takes and takes and. I will still be up a pawn. King f8 takes, king g7. Rook d7 is my concern, but no, this rook endgame has to be much better for me. What am I even talking about? The only question is, should I start with taking? I don't think so. I have time though. I have time. If c takes on d4, rook takes on e7 check, king f8. Kind of forced to take back. King g7 is probably the same variation. King f8 is more forcing though. King f8 you have to take on e7, and after c takes on d4 you have to take back, and then after king g7. Yes, of course you do that. And now takes is probably better than just playing here because it allows like rook d7. And now this is check, so if not anything happens. And now king g7, rook d7. There is many options I could go for them. Like here, rook e7. And then like takes and rook b8, b3. Actually, this will be very hard to win. Even this idea, if b3, then a4 simply kind of traps my rook. Also, maybe. So there is a argument to be made that rook g8 is better. Because I'm forcing g3. It's forced. After g3, f4 happens. I'm sacking one of my pawns, of course, why not? And then, oh, I have an outside passed pawn. I think this gives me enough. Wait, maybe it should just, wait. Rook g8, g3, f4 takes. I play rook g2, how do you defend your pawn is my question. You can't. If you play here, I take your rook. If you go here, oh, maybe that works actually. Here. I think that endgame should be winning. I'm up to pawns there. And if you play here, I can just sack my rook. Takes and takes, and f6 will be defended. I mean, there will be the pawn on f4. So I just play rook g8 here. Is there anything else? There is nothing because the rook is hanging here. g3, I play f4. Maybe it's not the best move, but I think it is. Activating my rook. I sacrifice the pawn to get an active rook. And I also think that I will just win this pawn back and then b2 falls or f4 falls. Or if the here takes is an question. I mean, and then the material is the same. Yes, this happens. But I don't think it's actually anywhere close. Oh, I have here. Is this improved version? Now there are some new answers I need to answer. Is also, hold on, I have rook d8. King c3 only move. No, that is here as well. Oh no, it's not because I play f5. Then I'm probably winning. So rook d8, king c3 only move, or king d3. If king d3, I'm not so happy with myself. Rook here. King b3 is, and then takes here. Takes, and takes. Am I happy with that position? Most likely I am, because wait, why not just take here and don't? I mean, do this. Why not just do that? No, I'm thinking about a nuance that doesn't matter at all. I will just take here. Spending so much time on this one easy tactic was just not the way to go. And now rook f2, of course. But how to play this position is the question. I think just stacking another pawn is great, if I will be able to do so. Also playing rook a8 threatens. No, it doesn't. I mean, getting the rook to e4, great. Getting the king to g5, another great point. So starting when king e6 allows rook h2, rook h8, king here. I'm not that happy with that position. Because but I can just. Now it's time to just calculate. I mean, this rook endgame has to be better for me. Why? Well, firstly, because of my outside passed pawn. Rook b8, b3, a5 there, king c3, a4 takes. Why? Here I kind of worried about king c3, if I'm completely honest. I mean, king g6, there is an argument to be made that I have to put my king on f5 and then just push with my pawns. So why not start with this, and then this, and then takes and bulldoze down the position. And I have these two double pawns, but they are pretty safe. I mean, you have to bring your king closer. But if we trade off rooks, I'm completely winning. And there is no doubt about it. If we trade rooks right now, the position is lost. Completely lost for white. Completely lost. There is no question about it. Why? Well, I have an outside pass pawn. You have this pass pawn, but I'm close to it. I will play f5 and then start pushing the pawn. Yes, but I mean, come on, you should play king e3 here. And this is probably the worst king move I have ever seen in my life. You should go here and try to do this. Now I just go here, push my passed pawn as far as I can, and then if I can bring my king closer, really. Really. There is rook c8. And what's your next move is my question to you. No, but your pawn is now so weak that this doesn't even work. I mean, if I allow here, then it might work. No, but if I do that, then simply here. Comes with a tempo. If here, it might be slightly dangerous, but here, and here, I'm giving him without the two passed pawns. That's bad. So rook c8 to begin with. King e3, h5. And this is very weak pawn. My king is trapped, which is quite bad. I have a lot of ideas in the position, so I mean, pushing my pawn slightly You go forward with what reason in particular? To go here? Blundering the pawn? No, h5. Rook h2 here. Check here. Check g6. And then I think I should be bad. Like, look, excuse me. The position is probably equal. All the rook and games are equal. Let's say, let's put it that way. And winning such a rook and game is very hard. But we have an imbalance. I have an outside pass pawn. Rook h2, okay, I don't care. King g4. Check, I go there, I win a pawn. I think rook h2 was a big mistake, but maybe the position was just lost. What could you do? But now, after king g4, I think your position is much worse. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a draw. But here, winning a free pawn and then pushing with all my pawns is pretty dangerous. Who is faster, yeah? You cannot push d7 quite yet. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. h4, d7, rook d8 wins. So, king here. I go here. If you play rook h1, I go h3. d7 here. Here I go here. You go anywhere. I go h2. You go here. I sack. You take. I play h1 queens. You take me, and after king e7, I'm lost. Well, great. This is a draw move. Probably it's automatically a draw. This is a draw. That's, I mean, maybe, yes. And now I need to decide to play for a win or not to play for a win. And how to, oh, I see an insane tactic. I can get behind the pawn, winning me some tempi. I need to calculate that. h4, king d5. I go here. You push here. I go here. Oh, but yeah, then you go here, winning the game. So I cannot do that. I have to go check. You go back, and then I go here. If you take, I take. Here, I go here and win the game. So I think I wasn't calculating that good. Excuse me. Once again. h4. No. What do I do? What was my first move? Probably here is the best. Here, d7 wins. Here I need to also calculate here. No, this is insane. If I go h4. No, wait. Here there is here. Not there, here. Wait, maybe I just need to play for a draw. h4 here. Here. Ooh, maybe I can combine my ideas. Rook h1, I go here. Oh, but then here, no, the h3 loses. So I go back, you go here, here. Here, 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 here. And I resign. h4 is an attempt for a win, but I mean, even this is probably a draw. What am I talking about? Of course, it's not a draw. Few long breaths. Deep breaths, not long. And then I will start calculating once again. h4. King d5. Here. Rook h1. here. But this looks just here, here, moves, here, 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 takes, here, take, you promote, I go here, 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 here. In this position it's a draw. But wait, why did h4 here, here, rook h1, h3 here. No, you push with d7. I go here, let's say. You here, here, moves, here, 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 takes, make a queen, takes, and here and here, here and here, and it's a draw. Oh, but then there is f5 at the end. I need to go once again. Excuse me. h4, d7. No. h4, king d5, king g3, rook h1, h3. d7, rook a8. King e6. Where was I? I need to... Here. Here, here. 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 I'm not sure. I will go with h4. I spent 6 minutes calculating, which is insane. Of course you don't take here. You play here or somewhere. Maybe rook c8 here and rook c8. You cannot push. You have to go here. No, I'm losing. I calculated that I'm lost and I didn't care. I'm losing because of f5. Oh, can I push f5 right now? Here, 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 here. Go here, I go here, you go here. I go here, you take. No, I can't. I'm one tempo too short. Unfortunately. I promote firstly, but it doesn't matter at all. I'm lost now. I calculated that I'm lost and I didn't care. f5. f5. calculated that I'm lost and I did it anyway. Let's game review the game. Why did I do that? I calculated that I'm lost. And it was a draw. Of course it was a draw after king f5. So let's analyze the game now. So e4, the Caro-Kann defense, d4 and d5, and knight c3 is the main line. After takes and bishop f5, knight g3, not special, and h4. Of course, if I play e6, h5 wins my bishop. So I have to play h6 here. Now knight f3 was played, going to here. So knight d7, stopping that idea, because if here I can simply take and trade into a queenless middle game, although I can win a pawn as well with queen a5 and just fork. But after knight d7, h5 here, bishop b3 takes and takes, e6 is the main line, and now bishop f4. I can play queen a5, c3, and this is a mistake. But I've seen people do that. After takes and takes, this is bad. King d2 is a mistake, knight gf6, rook d1, c5. Here I can take and play knight f6 and take the pawn. And I'm fine. Knight f6, knight h4, bishop e7, knight f5 was a brilliant move, let's say. And I was never better. After knight f5, I shouldn't have taken it. I mean, it's probably equal endgame. This c takes on d4 was the only move. C takes on d4 was the only move. And now rook g8, g3, and f5 and f4, and the position is equal. After rook f2, rook here, I can sack. Takes and takes and takes, and the position is completely equal. And I think king g6 was slight mistake. I mean, the position is equal. King e3, king f5 was mistake, definitely. c4, rook c8, same now. The position is still equal. King here, h5, and now I'm lost. After rook h2, king g4. Here, and I'm lost. I was lost the whole end game. King takes on f4 was still losing. h5 was the losing move. Rook c1, get behind the pawn. So he just outplayed me. h5, I calculated and I'm lost. After h4. I calculated that I'm lost. I mean, I'm not sure why it's only +5. It's just completely winning. I calculated that I'm lost, but there is nothing I could do. I mean, let's analyze this endgame slightly more, because we need to understand where was the draw. So to improve, rook c1. If pushes, king e6 back wins the pawn. So not that, so rook h2, let's say. Rook d1, allowing king to get active, and then king e4, d6, rook c1, king b4, and rook d1, and it's a draw by repetition. Because his king is cannot go any further because of my two pawns. And this is a draw by repetition. So rook c1, if you play rook h2, it's a draw by repetition, as we mentioned. So what if you do play something like here? If I take, of course I push. He pushes and wins. So where is the draw? h5 now, pushes, king e6, king e4, f5, going back. I guess this is a draw. And the other thing that I was calculating here, after e6 was playing king f5. I thought the position was okay. I was only calculating takes, and it's probably no, it's not equal at all. Because of rook d5, rook c1 now. What? d7. f5 is the move. Oh my god. And of course this is lost. here, 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 here. I'm in Zugzwang and I cannot play this because simply here. Because this endgame is of course completely lost. Just to put it on the board. Even if you make a rook. So yes, the endgame was lost. I shouldn't play h5 here. This was a mistake. But I played it in 1 second. So yes, I thought even... And another mistake that I have made was to play queen a6 here. But knight f5, I should take here. I calculated that. And that here you have to take... You have... Oh, you have knight h5. King d7 apparently learning. Well, this was just an insane game, so let's put it right here, knight f5. This will also be in the thumbnail, I guess, so if you have seen the thumbnail, this will probably be the position on the board. And yes, if you have anything to tell me, please let me know in the comments below. I will be reading and answering all of your comments. And as always, if you like the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help me out. And see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye!